How you doing, everybody? It's your boy Wardy, and as you can see, we're back at it talking about the Amazons. We're also back at it getting into the latest reports, which have the New York Metropolitans showing interest in, yes, Jorge Soler, one of, if not the best slugger out there currently available in the free agent market. So we're going to get into where do these reports actually stem from, how likely, unlikely is it that Soler could potentially land in Queens, and so much more. But before I break it all down, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button for your boy, as it is the easiest and best way to support the channel. Thank you all so much in advance for doing so, and also thank you all in advance for hearing from today's video sponsor.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook, where you can bet on everything anytime. Sportsbook, casino, horse racing, live betting, and more. We have the best bonuses in the industry. That's right, get a 125% sign-up bonus. And to celebrate our 30-year anniversary, we are giving up to 30 risk-free bets, a truck, Super Bowl tickets, and more. Don't miss out. Play smart. Join now. BetUS, where the game begins.
Shout out once more to BetUS for being a great sponsor on the channel. Make sure to click the link in the description so that way you too get a 125% boost with your first deposit. So if you deposit $100, you automatically get $225 to work with. And guys, we got NFL playoffs this weekend. You see some of the key matchups down below. And what stands out to me in particular about these games personally is, yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm just holding out hope that they can at least make it a decent game against the Buffalo Bills. But overall, I'm really excited to get into this weekend slate of games. I'm sure many of you are too that are football fans. If you're hockey fans, NBA fans, whatever sports betting needs you have going on, make sure to check out BetUS today, as they are both safe, secure, and reliable, and they're your number one source for all your sports betting needs. And on top of it all, we're going to be doing unique WardyNYM parlays throughout the regular season for the New York Metropolitans. So again, make sure you get in on the action today, and shout out once more to BetUS. But I want to see your initial reactions, thoughts, comments, questions, and concerns to the news that yes, the Mets have been involved in the Soler market. To what degree, we may soon find out. However, reports stem actually a couple days ago from Robert Murray, who's an MLB insider, one of the better ones in Major League Baseball, and a younger one at that. And recently in his live show on the Baseball Insider's YouTube channel, while breaking down all the current pitching rumors for every team, he also did break down the rumors on Jorge Soler and shared how multiple clubs have been pursuing Soler, headlined by teams, of course, like the Boston Red Sox. There is no favorite at the time, and one of the teams that has shown interest is in fact the New York Mets. I will link the show down below for you all to check out, just in case you don't believe me for whatever reason. But again, shout out to Robert Murray again for being the source there. But I want to know your reactions, because this is something that a lot of Mets fans have been hoping for, obviously. Now, I'm not going to get my hopes up if it is presumed true that the Mets only say have $10 or so million to work with, which I think is a very, raw number. I don't think that's going to hold true in the end. Should that be the case, of course, you don't love the odds of the Mets landing someone like Soler and his services. However, there is no denying that the Mets having interest here the same way that they've had interest and JD Martinez and Justin Turner is certain that they do have an interest level in adding a bat this MLB free agency. David Stern said it himself, we're not closing the door. We certainly like the idea of some of these guys. However, we just don't have it to the same priority as others, because we know how important it is to address both the bullpen and the rotation this offseason. While all those things are true, what is also true is that the Mets could really benefit from a true bona fide everyday DH that can be a huge slugger for you behind Pete Alonso in this lineup, and Jorge Soler might just be the best option currently available out there. So as we take a moment to look here at Soler's numbers, just look at them with me. Again, 36 bombs, 77 runs scored, 75 RBIs for a 250, 341, 512 clip this past season with the Miami Marlins. He opted out of his deal. Of course, is likely looking for a multi-year deal, and that's why I think the Mets don't have the best odds to land him here. I think if he goes to a team like the Boston Red Sox, that would do wonders for his offensive production, hitting a left off of the Green Monster. But still, all in all, this is a guy that the Mets do end up pursuing heavily for, because we don't know to what extent they've had interest in to this point. If they do, man oh man, would this be a tremendous get for the New York Mets. Don't get me wrong, JD Martinez slugging wise would be fantastic as well, but there are a lot of factors that come into play when evaluating the free agents out there and their interest level, because again, it takes two to tango. JD Martinez, Justin Turner, while they will certainly be appealing and I would welcome them in Queens, there's a proper counter that, given the fact that they're not getting any younger, do they really want to maybe have one of their final contracts in their major league career be with a Mets team that on paper is not nearly to the liking of the Phillies, the Braves, and other teams currently in the NL East. But however, when getting onto Jorge Soler here, he already has a championship on his resume, he has a playoff MVP, and he's only 31 years of age. So right now he's just focused on the next best fit for him on a multi-year deal. Can the Mets ink him to a multi-year deal? We will soon find out. But as we look through the numbers for Baseball Savant again, you know Jorge Soler is one of the top sluggers in Major League Baseball. Let's not forget his time with the Kansas City Royals, where he was raking over 50-plus bombs. Now, outside of Soler's absolutely putrid defense, another thing that does need to be noted about him is his lack of consistency. He has struggled to stay on the field on a year-by-year basis if you look throughout his career, but when he is healthy, he has truly been a dominant batter in Major League Baseball. If we look, his batting run values in the 67 percentile, his XWOBA 93 percentile, expected batting average 62 percentile, expected slugging 94 percentile, average exit velocity is 91 or so miles per hour, 81st percentile, barrel percentage 91st percentile, hard hit percentage, 84th percentile. Sweet spot percentage, 72 percentile. Chase percentage, 72 percentile. Why is that important? It's telling you that Jorge Soler, while he does strike out at a good clip, is pretty responsible for an everyday slugger. To be in the 72nd percentile and chase percentage stands out significantly to me. And with the whiff percentage, 37 percentile, K percentage, 33 percentile. Again, for an everyday slugger, a guy that can give you north of 40 plus bombs a season when healthy, those are pretty respectable numbers, all things considered, versus other sluggers out there in the game at his respective position. 83rd percentile and walks percentage. That's another key about Jorge Soler. He is not just your typical standalone DH where he's swinging for the fences and he has nothing else to provide. He can get on base for you at a pretty impressive clip, as he did last season with Miami at a 341 OBP. That's a big deal, okay? If you're looking for a guy that can not only give you power protection outside of Pete Alonso, Francisco Alvarez, and of course Francisco Lindor, bringing in someone like Soler doesn't automatically give you immediate power protection, but the ability to still, again, have a pretty positive offense with getting on base at a solid clip. That is another very appealing aspect here to Jorge Soler and his game. And again, the concerns we know, it's defense, which is why it wouldn't shock me if David Stern scoffs at the notion of signing Soler to, say, a 2 or 3 year deal, knowing that while he can play left field, he'll play pretty putridly. And when I mean putrid, he's a -3 and outs above average defensively. He's also a negative player in arm value. His arm strength is great, around 86 or so percentile, but the arm value and range is pretty much horrendous. He's not fast either, so again, you're pretty much putting a pylon out there in left field for any time that Soler would defend, which is why him as an everyday DH is the most ideal position. Now, we know David Stearns is someone that isn't fully committed to adding a bat this offseason. Mark Vientos, he would like to see what he has in him, as is the case potentially with DJ Stewart. And as I mentioned in last night's live stream, while that holds true and I understand that, the same understanding can be said that the Mets have not properly addressed his DH position since it became universal. So why should we try out yet another season of complete uncertainty in said position, even though that, yes, this year is probably the best year to do it if you're David Stearns, Carlos Mendoza, and this current Mets regime. Jorge Soler, a tremendous bat. Again, might not be the best slugger in all Major League Baseball, but he is certainly up there. And if you can ink him at, hopefully a respectable deal, if the Mets can somehow, someway pry him away from going elsewhere, my biggest concern is ultimately going to come down to not necessarily just the dollars, but it is the term. Does David Stearns really have an interest in committing multiple years for someone at a DH position? I'm going to lean saying no, but hopeful and saying it's possible, so we'll soon find out. Again, the Mets will not be showing interest in these players without at least some reason as to why they should be in New York Met. Now it's going to come down to what extent do they have said interest? Can they get a deal done? Will they add any bats at all this MLB free agency? I'll just tell you right now, if they do not, I'll be the first to start to complain about it, even while understanding the upside and the reasoning for wanting to give a leash to the young studs and a Mark Vientos, who has plenty of power, but a big loopy swing still. And yes, DJ Stewart, who broke out as a little veteran for the Mets down the stretch last year, has a little Barry Bonds streak of just hitting bombs for a week and a half, 2 weeks straight. It was fun. No less Mets fans, whoever you're a fan of, let me know your thoughts down below. How do you feel about the New York Metropolitans showing interest in one of the best sluggers out there, and arguably the best slugger available in the free agent market in Jorge Soler? What type of contract do you expect Jorge to get this MLB free agency wherever he may land? And was the likelihood, unlikelihood in your eyes of him landing in Queens, a park where he has plenty of familiarity during his time, of course, not only with the Atlanta Braves post-trade deadline in 2021 to help win them a championship in Atlanta, but also most recently the past couple of years here with the Miami Marlins? If he can rake the way he does in Miami's park, which is a very deep ballpark, I have confidence he can certainly do the same way that Pete Alonso does there at Citi Field. Thank you again, folks. Stay tuned for great content. We'll be live later tonight, probably around 8 p.m. Eastern or so, breaking down the latest Bridging the Gap podcast. Myself and Patrick Hennessy going to over all the latest in Mets and Yankees land, headlined by, yes, the Mets looking to trade for a starting pitcher. Could be on the horizon very soon. Marcus Stroman could be a New York Yankee. Wandy Peralta could be taking his talents from the Bronx to Queens. Harrison Bader is a Met. Let's hear the Yank fan perspective about it, and then some. Again, thank you all so much for checking that out in advance. I'll talk to you again real soon. Let's go Mets, baby. Peace out.